There was a white paper done while you were CTO at Dow Jones that talked about how a shift to the cloud really requires a culture change. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Like I said, I think it's one of the most often overlooked items. I think looking at it as just a technical shift is a missed opportunity. And it's possible to get some of the benefits that we described before, better costs, more elasticity, being able to move a little bit faster without necessarily sort of having to change or transform the culture, but you're not going to get as much of the result that some of the organizations who are and are therefore just going to be much more competitive. And I'll just give you an example of something beyond the technology shift that I feel was a meaningful culture shift. So when we were at Dow Jones, when I was there in 2012, we used to have these capital committee reviews where once a quarter, all the business leaders would get into a room and we would discuss the 4 or 5 projects that we thought we could afford to take on over the course of the next 18 to 36 months. And each of them, had a very elaborate business case, was going to cost millions and millions of dollars, and had some return on investment that we were expecting to happen in some period of time after it was delivered. But the problem is the world changes a lot in 18 months. And if you're relying as a business on making a commitment on day one, only to have something that just to show for it in 18 or 36 or whatever months, there's a large chance that the world has moved on. And the culture there, and the culture I see in many other organizations like it, it's not unique to them, was this sort of plan, build, run, waterfall mentality where we would start a big project, we'd have a bunch of program managers who are managing different phases, we would spend a lot of time designing stuff, and then we would build it, and then we would figure out how we would operationalize it. It's just too slow, and it doesn't allow you to react to the things that your customers are telling you midway. So the real culture change that we shifted was to have smaller teams of people who are responsible for a portfolio of capabilities and a budget and a set of resources that was held relatively constant over a period of time. They were held responsible for some metrics that they had to report on and deliver on, and then we would review that quarterly. But within those resources and within those metrics, they were free to change the different types of projects that they wanted to work on, and just listen to customers in a much different way because they had a whole lot more flexibility. And when you couple that with some of the things I was saying before, where we were only doing a couple software releases now to hundreds or even 1,000 or more a month, it really just completely changed the way the company operated and thought about how we delivered value for customers. And, it's not always that large scale. It's not always holistic across every organization or every customer we work with. It often happens in one line of business or one business unit and then maybe grows over a period of time. But those are the types of things that I think are going to separate the companies who are remaining very successful over the course of the next decade from those who don't.
So is that more of an agile methodology, culture approach to managing big changes and projects like that?
Yep. I mean, some refer to it as agile. Some refer to it as like a DevOps mentality. I use the word DevOps a little bit more frequently when we were actually going through the transformation at Dow Jones. But look, whatever the word or the phrasing or the way that a large organization sort of uses to describe that type of shift, I think they should use whatever works in their particular context. But the notion that you're going to give create an environment where builders can come up with ideas, test them out, be directly responsible and own sort of the customer experience and allow them to sort of shift based on the changing demand they see. I think that's the essence of it. And then what would you call that? Pick something that works for you and your organization.